You know, it's been nearly 5 years since the PS5 launched, and it's something that I was eager for when it got announced. I was ready for it, man. I loved my PS4. It was my console that I played by far the most. I hardly ever turned on my Xbox One. I hardly ever turned on my Wii U as well. So I was stoked. I was ready for it. I thought it was going to be just this amazing, amazing piece of machinery that just captivated my mind and took me to the future of video gaming. And we're not quite there yet. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jay. Welcome to Square Pegs. Today we're talking the PS5. Not something I do very often here on the channel, but yeah, I figured why not? Let's kick the tires on it. We're going to go over my collection, some of the stuff I have for it, and just kind of give my thoughts on the console as a whole. Now, to start off with the PS5, you can't talk about the console without talking about the absolutely incredible controller. I was a doubter when it was first released. I was not someone that was really expecting this to make gameplay different. You know, there's always been consoles and controllers that have said, you know, we're going to change the way you play games. With the Switch, we had HD Rumble, and that was something that's like, oh, HD Rumble is going to change the way you play. And it did on 1-2 Switch, and then no one did a damn thing with it again. And that was kind of the case for a while with the DualSense controller here. I thought Sony did really well with it. I thought the first party games that they released actually made good use of this controller and actually showed off what it was capable of, especially something like Astro's Playroom, which launched with the console and was on board. Nintendo, take notes. You should be doing that for Switch too. But from there, like, other companies just didn't really seem to do much with it, at least not that I've experienced. Now, that could be because my exposure to a lot of games on the PS5 is limited. I don't have a massive collection. I think I only have like 12 or 13 games on the console, other than stuff that I picked up with my PS Plus. But it's something where, you know, this console, and specifically this controller, this absolutely fantastic piece of machinery here, is the reason I come back and play more games on the PS5, because it's just so natural to use this controller and it feels so good to use it. It's something where literally it's a perfect controller. It's the best controller of this generation. And it takes a lot for me to say that, because I wanted to not like it when it launched. I wanted to think this was just a gimmick, but it works. It's something that I think makes games better. It makes games more enjoyable when they utilize the functionality and actually take advantage of what the controller is capable of. And it's pretty awesome. And those are the three I have. Now, I have got quite an army of PlayStation 4 controllers because we just use so many of them. But for the PS5, it's not something that really anyone in my family plays except me. So I have three, and that's honestly 2 more than I really need. But I love that purple one, and I really like that red one as well, that kind of berry red. I think it's pretty nice. Of course, you don't have to be sitting in front of your TV to play. Sony's seen to that by releasing a remote play device in the PlayStation Portal. Now, I'm kind of a mixed bag on this thing, and it's not... I don't think it's a fault of the console here. I do think that was the case at the start, because when this thing initially released, it was a hot pile of garbage. And I think some of the firmware updates they've done have really added stability to the platform and really made it so this thing is worthwhile and functional. And unfortunately, here in Southwest Michigan, our internet sucks. And it's just, I don't get enough bandwidth for this thing to function terribly well, which is really unfortunate. That's going to change. We are getting fiber installed right now, which is pretty amazing, and that'll make this thing a little bit more user-friendly. But for now, this is just kind of the hopping onto the couch in the living room and just playing there while I'm waiting for dinner to finish, or I'm waiting for something to finish wrapping up with automated tests at work. So it's a nice machine to have. I can't go too far away from the PS5 or it gets a little bit jittery, but I do think that the Wi-Fi, when that increases and gets better, will make things a lot more user-friendly at the very least. But I was skeptical about this, and one of the things I do like about it is that it incorporates a lot of the functionality from the controller as well. So you're still getting that kind of nice responsive control scheme. You're still getting that really good haptic feedback as you play. It's nice. It's a really cool thing, and I appreciate it. It's something where I wasn't convinced I was going to like this. I actually didn't pick this up until about a month ago. I was pretty well sworn it off as far as picking up things to actually like use this on, because I didn't see the need for it, but it's on sale. I wanted to try it out, so I grabbed one. And other than the Wi-Fi issue, I'm actually really pleased with it. I think it's pretty cool. Now let's talk video games, because I mean that's what we're here for, right? We're here to talk about games, and there's a ton of games on the PS5, and truth be told, not a lot that have really excited me, not a lot that have made me go, ooh, I need that. You're gonna not see stuff like there's no God of War games on my list. I don't like the God of War series. I never have. I probably never will. I don't have the newest one of. I actually don't remember the title, but I don't have that in my collection. But I've got 12 games, and I want to go over those. And there's a bunch of other stuff I've picked up, like I said, on Plus, and I actually do have God of War downloaded there. Just haven't played it. But it's something where for so long the console was just an accessory to me. It wasn't a focus. It wasn't go-to gaming. It wasn't something where I felt the need to dive in and really invest time into this console, which is a shame because I spent a ton of money on it. And it's something that I really do think that I wish I had spent more time with it earlier, because I think I would appreciate it more than I do now. Like, as it stands, I still play my Series X a lot more than I play my PS5. I think the PS5 is a better console. I think the PS5 has better games, but I am just so ingrained into that Xbox ecosystem now because I've been playing it since it came out, and it was the first one I got of the two of them, that it just kind of becomes second nature that that's the one I turn on. I recently started purchasing things that I would normally purchase on the Xbox on the PS5 just to see how I'm enjoying it, and that'll actually be one of the games I feature in here. And pleasantly surprised so far. Like, it's something where I was pretty well convinced I wasn't going to enjoy it, but I'm having fun. But games, let's talk about games. First one on this list is, I mean, it's one of the best. It was really close to being Game of the Year last year for me. It's a miraculous piece of technology, and something that I think does a better job explaining what the PS5 is capable of than Sony has ever done. Even in all of their press releases, even in all of their like infographics and informatic stuff that they put out about the PS5, nothing explains the PS5 better than Astrobot, because this is just a love letter to all things both Sony and PlayStation. Like, it is a perfect experience of a game that is a fantastic platformer, for one, like a brilliant 3D platformer. And it's one where I really appreciate the effort that goes into it. Like, there's so many different characters featured, so many different worlds featured, amazing level designs that are based around the hardware and kind of the infrastructure of the PS5 that is just so damn creative, and it just plays brilliantly well. And it's just fun. Like, and at the end of the day, that's what you need a game to be, right? You need it to be enjoyable. You need it to be fun. And this crushes it. It is so much fun. It is so easy to play and so easy to fall into and lose hours to. This is really the one that turned it around for me. This was one where it made me, like, I loved Astro's Playroom that shipped with the console, like I mentioned earlier, but this is the one where I went, okay, this is the game. This is the one that's going to bring me back to the console, and it did. It's amazing. Next up, one that gets a really bad rap and gets a bad reputation online, which I don't get. Like, other than it's just idiots being idiots and complaining about a game they've never actually played, or they're complaining about a game that they're reading way too much into. And it's from a series that I really enjoy, and I know a lot of people don't like it because it's, I don't know. Maybe it's the bleeding heart liberal in me that it doesn't take offense to any of the shit in this game. But Dragon Age Veilguard, I really think this is a clever game. The gameplay is wonderful. The storyline doesn't bother me. It's something where it's a Dragon Age game. Like, if you've played Dragon Age since the Xbox 360 days, you're going to enjoy this. If you are so dead set on the fact that it has political ideology that you don't like, you're not going to like it. Don't pick it up. Don't play it. It's that simple. But for me, it's a game that I enjoy the design of. I enjoy the combat. I like the overall level construction. I like the voice acting. Like, there's nothing in this game that I dislike. I think it's a solid title. I think it's enjoyable. I think it's ridiculous in the best ways, just like every good Dragon Age game is. I think it's a fun game. All right, next. Now, I can't say anything about this game other than I own it because I haven't played it yet. And there's a couple games on this list that are like that. I own this one because I needed to own it. It's from a franchise that I like. It's from a Sony franchise that I think is amazing. It's Horizon Forbidden West. It's a game that features an amazing character in Aloy. The gameplay is, at least in the first one, was wonderful. The storyline was wonderful. It was something that was creative and different and kind of inspired. I really thought it was a wonderful introduction to a brand new franchise for Sony that just worked. And I have heard nothing but good stuff about this one. I'm showing trailer footage here because, like I said, I don't have any gameplay captured for it yet. And I am just kind of enthralled with the character of Aloy. I loved Lego Horizon Adventures as well. Got that on the Switch. I'm excited to see where the character goes. I'm excited to see where the franchise goes. I'm excited to finally get to this one once I beat the first one. I'm bad at beating games, guys. But I'm excited to have this one. And this is the launch edition. I don't know if it actually gives you. Oh, I get a legacy outfit and a spear, apparently. It's download code. I got this for like next to nothing on Amazon one day. I think it was like $10 or something like that. I was like, of course I'll spend $10 on it. But I'm playing through the first one on my PS5 right now. I have the PS4 disc, and I'm playing through the upgraded version of it. And it's just such an enjoyable franchise and such a wonderful series that I'm happy to own it. And eventually, when I finally get to it, I'll love this one too, I'm sure. Here's the other one I haven't actually played, and I grabbed this one on the recommendation of Chris from the Game Dad Show because he said how great of a game it was. And this was something that I looked at, and I think Tom and Lacey from Do You Nerd as well suggested this one. And this is one that I loved the look of. It looked like a Pixar movie come to life. I'm excited to eventually play it. It just hasn't made it into the PS5 yet for me. And it's Kena, Bridge of Spirits. It's a really, really interesting concept for a title. So I'm going to read the back of it here for you. This is the deluxe edition. It says, embark on your journey as Kena, a young spirit guide. Uncover the mysteries lurking in a forgotten village inhabited by lost souls. Action-packed adventure combines fantastical exploration with fast-paced combat. Find and grow a team of charming spirit companions, the Rot, on your quest to free the lost spirits. It's a third-person action game. Sony kind of specializes in those. Those are kind of tailor-made for the PS5 or for the PlayStation family of consoles. And I was just really interested in this one. I thought the animation was beautiful. I thought the actual character designs were wonderful. And that'll take you far for me. And I was just excited to own it. I have no reason I haven't played this one. I just haven't done it. I need to. I really should. This one I do really like. It's an Atlas RPG. It's a fantastic, what a surprise, right? Atlas put out a fantastic RPG. This is Metaphor Refantazo. This was one of my games of the year last year. I think this is in the top 10. It is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful game that is, it's pure Atlas. It's brilliant RPG gameplay. It sounds wonderful. It looks incredible. The storyline is fantastic. They spare no expense on things like voice acting. Like every character is fully realized and just feels alive. And that is the best thing I can say about an Atlas RPG is all the characters feel real. They feel alive. Even the most fantastical ones, like the tiny little pixie girl in this, she still feels alive. She still feels like she's real. And it's such a wonderful game, and it just feels important. Like it's one of those games that it's just like, I think in a couple generations, people are going to look back at Metaphor Refantazo and just really think that this is one of those kind of signature RPGs that people overlooked. And I know a lot of people loved it and a lot of people talked about it, but this is one of those games that I just think in a couple generations is going to be one of those key experiences that people might have missed out on. This is my favorite PlayStation 5 game, by far. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, from my favorite PlayStation series, featuring two of my favorite PlayStation characters in an absolutely brilliant time-hopping and dimension-hopping adventure. It is nearly perfect. It is one of the most beautiful video games I've ever seen. It is incredible to me that the technology exists to make a game this advanced and this just over the top seamless as it is. It is one of the best experiences I've ever had playing a video game. It brought me joy. Like that is the best way I can put it, is that it made me happy. And that's what I want from a game like this. This is what I want to experience. It is such an invaluable game to me and such an absolutely perfect, wonderful encapsulation of not only what the PlayStation 5 is capable of, but also what the Ratchet & Clank franchise is. It is a joy bearer, and it is just a marvelous, marvelous title. I know a lot of people don't like this one, but I actually really enjoy it. This is one of the few multiplayer games that my wife and I have enjoyed on the PS5, and it's Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I love Sackboy as a character. I have always thought that Little Big Planet was an absolutely brilliant idea and just a wonderful execution of a creative vision that a lot of people appreciated at the time, but I don't really hear people talk about anymore. And Sackboy: A Big Adventure is that company's take on what a Sackboy platformer would be. And it's amazing because it's not only just a standard platformer, there's also 3D elements, there's 2D elements, there's rhythm-based gameplay as well, which is fantastic. It's creative, tons of unlockable costumes and things like that. It is just, it's a marvelously enjoyable game, and it's something that I have gotten so much pleasure out of it, and I didn't expect to, because it didn't get great reviews at launch. Like, people kind of thought it was a little bit middling, and I think that's unfortunate, because it's really not. It is a miraculous game, a marvelous title, and something that I think is just underappreciated. Here's one I got. This is the launch game I got when I picked up my PS5. It was one that I desperately wanted because I didn't pick it up on the PlayStation 4. And this is the Ultimate version. This was the one that gets you a bunch of DLC, and it's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Miles is an amazing character. The Spider-Man video games are fantastic. They're some of my absolute favorites. I think this game is brilliant. It does suffer a little bit from Uncharted Lost Legacy syndrome here, where it clearly feels like DLC. It feels like an expansion pack for the original Spider-Man, and I guess it's kind of what it is, but it's one of those things where when you play it, you're going to go, yeah, that's a little short, a little bit short. And that's a shame, because Miles deserves better, and the sequel is wonderful. It's a fantastic game. It's just a little bit short. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it could have been 10 hours longer and it would have been perfect. Like, if they put a few more missions in, or maybe just a little bit, I don't know. I'm nitpicking it to death here, and I don't want it to sound like it's not a great game, because it's wonderful, but it feels a little DLC-ish. What does not feel DLC-ish, though, is Spider-Man 2. This is right up there with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for me for best PS5 games. I loved the first Spider-Man game on the PS4. It was one of my favorite video games. It was something that I thought defined the generation. I think Spider-Man 2 doesn't quite get to those lofty goals. It's a nearly perfect game. There's definitely some stuff where it's like, oh god, this kind of quest again, and there's some bugs, and I've fallen through the world in this one. I didn't do that in the first Spider-Man. There's clearly some bloat on some part of the story that is like, we're rehashing that again. Okay, we're going back to that. Well, and that's unfortunate, but I think in the grand scheme of things, like, overall the game is brilliant. It is one of the most strongly designed games. It shows exactly what Insomniac is capable of doing. They're unbelievable developers for a reason. And it's something that I really do enjoy, and I really think is wonderful. I am very impressed with the overall implementation of spoilers here. Skip ahead 45 seconds if you haven't played Spider-Man 2 yet. I'm really impressed with the overall implementation of Venom in the game. I think the symbiotes being in the game are really amazing, and they offer something that's a little bit different than what we experienced in the first Spider-Man. But the main complaint I have about it is it doesn't do enough different from the first Spidey to really set it apart. It doesn't feel like DLC, but it feels like a straight sequel, I think, is the biggest complaint I have. It's still fantastic. It's still an amazing game, but it feels like a straight sequel. Like, Rift Apart, hey, if you're just tuning in now, you are safe to continue watching. I've stopped talking about spoilers. Like, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart felt like a new game, just a new game in a franchise. Spider-Man 2 really feels like a sequel with a lot of reused assets. Kind of unfortunate, but, like, again, I'm nitpicking it. I'm looking for faults in a game that I adore. Not my newest PlayStation 5 pickup, but one of the newest games I have in my collection for the PS5 is the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters. I also own this on the Switch. I will eventually also own this on the Xbox Series. I will also eventually own it on the Switch too, because I need Konami to know I need more Suikoden games. I love this franchise. I wanted to get this one specifically because it has trophies. I love the Switch version. I love being able to take it portably with me, but I want to be rewarded for my gameplay and rewarded for going through this amazing series of RPGs. And it plays great on the PS5. Like, the best thing about it is that, like, load times are nothing. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted something that was going to be quick to play, quick to get into, quick to enjoy. And that doesn't happen on the Switch version. And the PS5 crushes it. It's amazing. All right, now I think I said earlier that Ratchet & Clank is my favorite Sony franchise. That's not accurate. It's my second favorite Sony franchise. My favorite is Uncharted. And of course, I own Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. This is both Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, remastered for the PlayStation 5. I don't think either of them really needed a remaster. There's some slight improvements. I think there's some ray tracing added and stuff like that, but it's not a noticeable visual upgrade over anything like that. It's just really nice to have both games in one package. Both games are fantastic. Lost Legacy doesn't feel any more complete than it did when it was released on the PS4. It still feels like DLC, kind of like Miles Morales did, but it's still wonderful. Being able to play as Chloe in Uncharted Lost Legacy or being able to play as Nate in Uncharted 4 is wonderful. They're both amazing characters. The games are fantastic. Like, the biggest issue is that Lost Legacy feels like DLC, and that's a good problem to have, right? Like, it's still a fun game. It's still excellent, and getting them both in one package is marvelous. The most recent pickup I have from a PS5, and this is the one that I specifically picked up for the PS5 that I normally would have gotten on my Series X. I have picked up the last, it hasn't been consistent, but since I think 2015, I've picked up 3 of the games in this franchise on the Xbox, and I haven't picked them up on Sony or anything like that, but I wanted to try out the PS5 version of WWE 2K25 just to see how it played, just to see if it was something that was worth my time. And I am ridiculously impressed with how good this game is. And that makes me happy because I had very low expectations going into this. I've been excited for every WWE 2K game that has released, and pretty much to a note, I have been disappointed by each and every one of them. The game is not perfect. 2K25 is not a perfect title by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of things that you can tell they took shortcuts on, a lot of really lazy bugs that should have been fixed, like stuff as simple as like misspellings on t-shirts and things like that. Like, it's just like, come on guys. But it's something where playing the game and going into the different modes and finally feeling like it's actually a realized game, like fully front to back realized, is awesome. The showcase mode is amazing. The Paul Heyman introductions are wonderful. You get hyped for the matches. The My Rise version, the My Rise mode is wonderful. The island is stupid. Don't play the island. Everything else in the game, though, is wonderful. I'm really impressed with it, though. I think it plays better than any version of WWE 2K that I've played yet. I think it looks better than any version, as it should, because it was developed primarily for PlayStation 5 Series X. And it is something that shows the power of those consoles. It's a fun game. If you like wrestling games, this one's actually pretty well done. The gameplay is solid. The actual like chain wrestling and things like that are built into it. It feels like a good game. Like, this feels like what Visual Concepts has wanted to do all along. And it feels like they finally got to the point where it's like, this is what you guys have been promising. You've delivered on it. It was kind of like when Watch Dogs Legions released. It was something where we had been promised these incredible games in the first 2 Watch Dogs games, and then finally Watch Dogs Legion really realized it. Maybe a bad example because that game's not excellent, but it felt more like what they were originally promising with Watch Dogs. You get what I'm saying. That's my whole collection. That's my whole PS5 collection. Like I said, I have some other stuff that I've downloaded via PS Plus that I haven't tried out yet, or I have tried that hasn't really connected enough for me to want to go out and buy a physical copy of it. There are some games that I thought got panned that I have played on PS Plus expecting them to be awful, and I was actually kind of enjoying them, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That game got critically destroyed, and honestly, rightfully so in some cases. Like, they pitched it as a live service game, and that's not... boy, it shouldn't have been what it was. But from a core gameplay perspective, it works. It's really good. There's some other stuff as well that I've tried out, like Maneater is really fun. Wreckfest is excellent. There's a lot of stuff on PS Plus that are really good games, but not something that's really made me want to go out and buy a physical of it. But these 12 games, those are my favorites. Let me know which one's your favorite. What PS5 games am I missing out on? What do you think I should be playing? I would love to hear from you. What do you think of the PS5 5 years in now to its lifespan? Do you have a Portal? What do you think of that? Let's just talk PlayStation. Let's talk PS5. I think it'd be fun. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. If you enjoyed this video, check out the link on screen right now for another one kind of like it. And until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.